Hello and welcome to our show, Film Talk with AJ Dean. I'm AJ Dean, your host, and oh my gosh, everybody, we have a multifaceted actor, director, producer, stuntman, author. We have Doc Skinner here. Such a privilege and an honor. Hey, let's check in with him and wish him a super warm welcome. Hey, Doc, thanks so much for being here. How are you? And
Doing
and how's it going?
doing well, thank you. I'm just get excited. My first book's come out, so trying to get the promotions going with that and get the word out. I'm actually in the process of writing part two and three. They're already written, actually. They were scripts, so that kind of gives me a little bit of advantage to getting the book done sooner than later. But it's been an amazing ride going on 8 years now, I think. Yeah, 8 years I've been working on this through COVID and war, this crazy, riots in the streets. I mean, but yeah, haven't stopped yet. So yeah, I'm in it to the end. I've gone too far, and I've got
That's
so many people relying on me in a sport that so few are even aware of. And that's the beauty of the story, and why I'm excited getting it out there in the coming months because it could do a huge change for the better. And we can go into that later. But yeah, I'm feeling good, feeling good.
It's wonderful, and I'm so it's congratulations. This is so amazing. What a fun story. It's called Fly, The Rise of Jet Parker. And as you said, there's like a three, you can see on our second screen here. This is the book. You can get it on, can you get it on Amazon? Where can you get it, Doc?
Yeah, you can get on Amazon and Kindle, and I just opened my first bookstore online, and that way I get a couple more bucks per book. But you can get it, either way. It's just if through my bookstore, I get paid right away, not 4 months later. So that's a good thing. And
So
that
what is your
is,
bookstore? How do people get to your bookstore online?
I was pulling up to see if I could do a screen share so I could show you, and I don't see where I need to do that. Um, anyway, it's books.by / cinematic pages. So that's the name of my bookstore, Cinematic Pages.
Okay, great. So people can go there and they can buy it. You said all three are already completed. One,
Scripts. They're all award-winning movie scripts.
yes, this is good.
And so I'm converting it from script to novels. And so
Wow.
that's why I was saying it gives me a little head start than most novelists. It's not easy. But yeah, I hope to actually by the end of the month have them both done and published. And then at Christmas time, maybe do a limited edition. I want to do a pop-up book edition, an
Oh,
interactive
fun.
book, because you don't see them that much anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice leather bound, and so it's mostly for my mom. She wants that, but it'd be a fun limited edition for the story. And I can't say which studio, but one of the top studios declared that this is going to most likely be the next new franchise. So,
Wow.
because it is the first of its kind, it's first time ever really that a story with characters and going over the community and the lifestyle, the friendships, the competitiveness, all this stuff, and bring it to the forefront because it is one of the most popular sports worldwide, just not here in the United States. But yet
Mm.
people see them all over, major cities. They're called iFlies. And the sport is indoor skydiving, or as they say, body flight sports, which encompasses skydiving, indoor skydiving, wingsuit, jetpack flying, parasailing, anything where you're off the ground, basically. Um, and so this sport, it's big with Red Bull and it's huge everywhere, but it's not here because America is stagnant in the main sports. You got football, baseball, basketball, and golf and a few others, but not this, unless you go to an extreme sports channel. Now, why is it really important? Well, because it's never been done before. This is the first time that the sport and the kids and the athletes that spend years doing this, and they only maybe are seen by a few people, maybe a few people online. Now it's the time to be seen worldwide. So the beauty about this sport, which I didn't realize until I flew to Spain to Barcelona, got on a train, it went up the coastline to Imperial Brava, Spain, where every year they hold what's they're considered their Olympics. It's the Wing Games, and the best of the best go there, right? So I'm working on the story, and I'm working with three-time world champion Russian Leonid Volkov from St. Petersburg, Russia, and he's a ham. He's the only one that does what he does. He's actually I entitle him in the story the Jedi Master of Body Flight. He can control himself in the air in a chamber, unlike most people. There are others, don't get me wrong. He's the one that's highlighted in this story. And the characters are based off real people. That even this one character known as Flyer X is based off of a real Flyer X that I met in Spain. And when I saw him, he came in, he, she, whatever, we don't know. Nobody really knows. And full black bodysuit, tight, flight suit with a big gray X, black helmet, tinted shield. And he's sitting with his arms crossed. And I'm interviewing and auditioning, talking to these flyers for my film. And I see this crowd of kids just run over to him like he's the Beatles. And I'm like, what is this about? And I was so blown away by it. I said, I already knew by the time I got there, I was going to have to rewrite my script because I learned something about the sport that was not incorporated in there. But I said, whatever this athlete's deal is, I'm writing him into the story. Wait, and so I brought him in, and he was like, yeah, "Let's do this." And the story went from one movie to now this trilogy franchise, and possibly even more spin-offs after that. And sorry, I'm really excited because there's so much about this. I've been working on this for 8 years, and it's like, ugh, I get to blurt it all out. The beauty about this sport that I witnessed was that every person there cheers every person on, no matter what national, and they're from all over the world, but there's no animosity and they encourage and uplift one another. And I was so blown away by this. I was like, that's not how it goes in America. It's you suck. We number one. That's how we were raised, from first grade, field day events, all the way to, and so I was like, how is this not like, this is good sportsmanship and everybody's having a great time. Even the ones may not win, that's okay. They know they might win the next one. And I was like, if I could instill this lifestyle into other athletes, could you imagine what could happen to just sports in general? The things they could do and the positive energy it could bring to this world, especially nowadays. So that's a big element in the first story, as well as an introduction to the sport, an introduction to the characters, the main one, Jet Parker. And here, I'll give you a quick little background. Jet Parker is a young 15-year-old boy with his sister Lily and his mom, who's what do you call it, ER surgeon. And they're transferred from Dallas to the beautiful White Mountains of Arizona. And before this happens, Jet was on a parkour team. Parkour is the running off buildings and bouncing off stuff and, stuff that my age you don't do. Anyway, these young kids, they do it. And so he had an accident, misjudged a step, a distance, and busted his knee. Doctors tell him he can never fly or never run or play sports again until he meets this young group of kids, kind of like the Goonies kids, the Stranger Things kids, the underdogs, who happen to be on a team called the Windflyers. And they bring him into this sport. Of course, the really cute girl on the team, Skylar Jenkins, it was the lure because he was like, oh, I'll go wherever you want. Because she asked him to meet him at this facility. And he discovers this sport. And of course, you got your bad guys and your Cobra Kai kind of guys. Um, but the introduction is basically part one. And part two, it's a year and a half later after COVID. And they've missed their opportunity for the Wing Games, but they get to go on a European tour. So it goes over there and it has some James Bond stuff. We've got chase scenes, we've got spies, and then you get into three and they're older and it gets hardcore. The story, the audience is meant to grow with the characters in the story, kind of like Harry Potter did. That's the goal. So anyway, sorry, my bad. It's your turn.
No, that's fine. Yeah,
I
we love.
babble.
Oh, you're great. We love it all. And it sounds so much fun. And I can see how that enthusiasm, Doc, you have such incredible enthusiasm for high energy and high frequency. And I guess when you went over there and saw that, that's how a lot of manifestation happens, is that high frequency. That's how things happen. And even if we're feeling low or challenged, if we can switch up our mindset to a higher elevated positive way of thinking, usually things come around really really fast, really really well. Is that how it happened for you with
Yeah, and still happening. And funny that you say it like that because my next trilogy that I'm getting ready to start, and once these are done, um, is based on frequencies. It's a Dan Brown kind of novel where you have real historical elements mixed in with some fiction, and it's a topic that is just starting, like on TikTok. It's starting to catch on, and it involves Tartaria. It involves bells and frequencies and evil and good, mystery and adventure around the world. And I'm really, really stoked about it. So it's kind of okay. So I haven't told anybody about that, so you're kind of get the first on that.
that's
But
great.
yes, that series is already in the works, and because this is a more of a kid story, and then he grows up to that point where he's 28. Um, but this series that I'm going to be coming up, I'm really also very excited, and they're going to be great movies. And that's how I usually do it: is I write the script and then go from there, and that way it has more punch to it, which I've been told. Fly does have that. There's been comments like, I feel like I'm on a crew and I've got the inside scoop on a movie and I'm going with the movie or something. And it should feel like that because it was originally a script. But yeah, I've been having a really fun time writing. I don't have a problem not being in front of the camera anymore. I used to when as you could tell from my background, I've done a lot. Now I'm at that age. I've learned um, star celebrities, it's great, but being a producer, a creator, the writer, that's where the meat and potatoes is. That's what I'm loving right now is not being some like I'm saying on a totem pole, but the orchestra, the conductor, being the conductor of a vision, of a dream, of an idea, of a thought.
Right, the captain of your own ship.
Indubitably, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Dan Brown Jr. Is that the same one from Crime Sonics? I interviewed him just a moment. Is he a friend of yours, or do
No,
you
no,
know?
no, 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 no. I didn't know. It's just Dan Brown's his books.
Oh, another
Like
Dan Brown. Oh, that's another
the
author.
the
Yeah,
writer
the
that did the Da
writer.
Vinci Code and all that.
Oh, right, right.
That style is what my book series Bells is going to be like, and that's going to be very very exciting because if I can get the hook with the film for Fly, then I kind of have my foot in the door of the studios, and I go, well, here's another thing. I actually have several. I have a stack of scripts ready to go, but Fly has been my big focus, and I think everybody's going to really kids of all ages, children 4 to 100 do this sport as competitively worldwide. And if you've never seen what they do, I know I mentioned iFly. I got iFly back here behind me, right? Okay, iFly's you go there, people think, okay, it's indoor it's skydiving, it's skydiving training, right? Okay, well, that's what it kind of was for. It was actually created by a Canadian Frenchman who wanted his children to experience flight, but safely. And he had taken the technology that had been used for parachute reentry stuff with NASA for the Apollo missions, and but the fan wasn't that powerful. They were doing it to get the parachutes open and whatnot. And then there was a gentleman who was very delirious. This is all in the story, by the way. This is a little campside story chat that the kids have one night in the book. So it's not giving too much away. But Jet is around the campfire and he's like, I wonder what it'd been like to be the first person to indoor skydive. And of course, Zoe, one of the girls in the team, she pipes up. She goes, well, I can tell you who that is. And she goes in this whole story. It's a true story, by the way, about a man who's working on these parachute entries on top secret for NASA, right? For the Apollo mission. And they were so delirious being running ragged day and night. He said, you know what? Turn this puppy on. I think I can fly. And he jumped over it. He was the first man in history to ever indoor skydive. So there's all these elements in the story that have history that tell people, how it works, the sportsmanship, the it's not just one person in there. They'll have like 4, 5, 6, 10-man teams. Shoot, they've had 30 people in a tube in the one in Dubai because it's like monstrous, right? And so it is really catching on, but America is kind of stuck because we've been so traumatized on an hourly basis for like 10 years now that we're stuck in what's safe. And I want to show this is one, it's safe. Two, it's exciting, it's fun. And who has never wanted to fly other than in their dreams? I mean, literally fly. And so it's a beautiful thing, and the ballets that these people do. I meant to have some videos to show you some examples, but the stuff they do and the manipulation of the air, and their kids, they go way up high, and then they come zooming down, and they like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, and they just stop like inches above this wire net, and then below them is just a big tube that goes down to these big I mean, it's and they have no fear whatsoever. And but these kids and adults, they travel together, they train together, they compete together, and then play together. I mean, there's just it is the most beautiful thing. So that is what flying is about in a nutshell.
And I love that. And I love that. When you hear Hollywood movie sets or just, film sets where everyone gets along together there, it's a great show. They're all supporting each other. It makes me feel that's what it's going to happen for you when, now is this film already done or it's on its way in pre-production?
We are halfway there.
Halfway through.
We're
Okay.
trying to come up with enough money for a car commercial.
Okay, so and
$250,000 because we've already got the big cost of it, which is the iFly facility. Okay, it was originally going to be about $500,000, but after a lot of talk and convincing them, hey, instead of just having your name in the background and getting recognition, be a producer of the film and get a chunk of the pie all forever. And they were like, it is a big long hour commercial for iFly. Why not? and God bless them. They said yes. And so we've got that taken care of. We've got all the professional world champion Red Bull sponsored flyers. I've even got Kirby Chambliss that I'm talking to, who's the number one stunt pilot for Red Bull. He did the opening scene with Ryan Reynolds in Six Underground out in the Utah Canyon. They're involved. I'm working, got Vess Rossi, who's known as Jetman Dubai. He has a wing phone. He flies around the city of Dubai and alongside the airplanes and stuff. He's involved because I wrote him into the script. That's what all these. That's why I said these are all real people. And originally it was just going to be like a run and gun guerrilla film. But then when parents and other people were like, dude, this is a lot bigger than you think. And I'm like, okay, I gotta be responsible for this. So we gotta do it. I had friends who were like, dude, we'll do it for you. We'll film it in a weekend. I'm like, no, I love you, but no. This is gonna take money. We're gonna do it right.
do it
Because
right.
yeah, and the
Exactly.
soundtrack's done. The soundtrack is already done for the first
Oh,
movie.
wow. Amazing.
Believe that.
Amazing.
You can go to the website and you can listen to the tracks. You can't download them. You can stream them though,
Okay.
and it is amazing. And to hear how my music supervisor Donna, she took the script, dove deep into my brain, saw, heard everything, and came out, worked with each individual band, helping them write the lyrics and everything to where it all fit exactly. I mean, it's her job, but oh my God, it was like this experience I never had when I'm like, these songs were written for a story. I came up, and that's, how much time do we have?
We have about 10 or 15 more minutes.
Let me take two, and I'll tell you
Okay.
how this. You know how there's always a funny story behind how a movie's made or what the story, how the story became, right? I'm with Martina Webster, who you mentioned earlier, who's I love her to death. She's my mentor, and she took me to Idlewild, California, for the film festival there to promote a movie that we were in called Turnover. And while we were there, we got invited to a producer director party. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna squeak in this with Martina then. Cool, I'm gonna go to this party. So we go to this party, and I see the Steve Savage, the man who's putting on the event, walking across the living room. So I tell Martina, I'll be right back. I'm gonna tell him thanks for having us over. So I get up, I start walking with him through the living room towards the kitchen, saying, "Oh yeah, thanks, we really appreciate it." Blah blah. Blah. And then we stopped. And literally a foot and a half from my face, in a corner, nowhere to go, in the kitchen, is Nia Peoples. And I've got Alan Levy, the director of CSI, Love Boat, Magnum PI, I mean, all these great shows throughout history, on my left, and Steve Savage on my right. I can't look at her. I am so starstruck. I'm just left and right, left and right. She leans forward. She goes, "Hi, I'm Nia Peoples, and you are." I'm like, "Hi, hi, I'm Doc Skinner." And she goes, "Who? What do you do?" Now, I said at the time, it was a producer director party. So I said, "Well, I'm a producer director." She goes, "Really? What are you working on?" Without even a thought, I said, "Oh, this great movie. You might be great for it." She goes, "Really? What is it?" I was like, "Oh my God, this conversation needs to stop." And earlier that day, I saw a YouTube video of a team, indoor skydivers, zooming in and out. And that's all I could see. And so I looked, I said, "Have you ever wanted to fly?" She goes, "Why?" And I just start making this story up right there on the spot. And like 5, 10 minutes in it, my friend's behind me. She goes, let's kind of like, yeah, yeah, I've gone too deep. But then Alan Levy says, "Oh my God, this is great American wholesome entertainment. You got to make this film." And I'm like, "Oh, shoot." And then Nia says, "Can I give you my number? I'm interested." And I'm like, this is the worst thing I've ever done. I don't do this, but I was so starstruck. So I came home, I researched the sport, and wrote the script.
Amazing, Doc. Thank you so much. And yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it, how things come together?
Mhm.
It truly is. I did want to share with everybody that you've done another, this is the movie poster for Fly. Um,
Oh, yes.
and also Operation Rock the Troops.
Oh, yeah, that's going way back.
That's going way back. I always do. And then because I love movie posters, and what you've
Nice.
done. And hashtag blessed. And
Yep.
then who saw the Men in Black? Now, that must be about aliens. And I know because I know people love to talk about aliens. Go take
Yeah.
it away. Tell us
It,
about
it's a
that.
documentary that was put together by the Cousins brothers. They own Third Phase of Moon out of Hawaii. They've been doing UFO stuff for over almost 20 years. All of those people that were at the congressional hearings that were all like in the front seats and all that,
Yeah.
we're all friends. They've
Oh,
all been here for dinner because I put on Disclosure Con and each year, and so I have all these big names come and speak. And I'm kind of like the Johnny Carson of the ufology world. I know enough, but I don't have like books on each of those subjects. So I interview them. And I've made some amazing friends. I've also met some whack jobs in my time, because they're out there. And but most people, like you said, in the film business, when you get a good group of people, you hold on to them, like George Lucas, Spielberg, and that's the key to always making bigger and better films each time, is you have a family with you that you can trust, you can count on, rely on. They're going to have your back, and that is my goal. Martina and Dalia, all the rest of the people with her husband Darren, Jeff Reynolds, myself, and others. That's what we're trying to do up here on this mountain. We want to show people you don't have to go to Hollywood, or New York to make movies. We have a beautiful backdrop here, which can cover any not ecosphere, biosphere. We have snow, we have desert, we have water, we have it all, and um, we do. We have a lot to offer, and that's what we're doing. Was eventually we would love to have a film studio up here. realistically, it would most likely be what they call a void studio, like they used in The Mandalorian, which is the wraparound. That would be most cost effective way to have a good, simple, independent studio. Um, and that's, we're trying to get money for that as well. But, right now, try to get this movie. If we get 250, that would cover cast, crew, and the gear, all the locations, the iFly facilities, the fly, everything. It's a package deal. I went to the studio like with a platter. It's all done for you. Just give me some money.
I hope it takes off and I hope it flies all the way to the stars and to the moon and back, Doc, for you and everybody. It sounds like a great, great project. And I did want to ask you a question. Having collaborated with Disney, because this is from your resume, Disney, Universal Studios, and Steven Spielberg, what
You
lessons?
ma- you make it sound like I'm sitting in the boardroom with them or something.
Well, I was going to ask you
No, I
what
wasn't one-on-one with Spielberg. I worked for Spielberg, studios at Universal. We did a TV show called Sequest DSV. It had Roy Scheider, and a bunch of Don Franklin and a bunch of other actors about a submarine in the ocean. And yeah, so I technically worked for Spielberg, yes. But Disney and all that, yeah, I DJ'd for Pleasure Island at Disney at MGM Studios. I actually would each at the end of each night on New York City Street, the Musketeers would come out. So I was DJing for Justin and Brittany and Jessica and all of them, in the beginning when they were, new.
what
Um,
fun. What a
yeah.
fun job.
So yeah, I've been very, very fortunate. I've had a very exciting life. Um, but I'm ready to get this production thing going and like put some really good movies out there. Not just stuff on the internet, but like a feature film. So I'm
Yes,
excited.
yes. And with that, among the various roles, Doc, that you have performed, actor, director, producer, what's the most fulfilling to you? What do you could do it all. I said that in our promo today. You can do it pretty much all because it's all creative. But what's the one, number one, would it be a director or writer that you're most happy in your element?
It varies, I guess, upon stories. If one's got action in it, I'm gonna really love that because it's got action in it. Or this one, we did this one called Confessional last year, which was not even meant to actually happen. I just got a new camera and I got a couple friends together. I said, hey, I'm gonna do this little 10-minute thing because I want to try out the camera and the lenses and the new editing software and see how it works. And they came together. Everybody got a little too into it, and it turned into like a real thing, with like handcuffs and wardens and gel cells and all this stuff from let's just try the camera out. And then it ended up winning at the Shiloh Film Festival. So that is probably one of my favorites in a while because there was no intent, there was no budget, there was nothing. It was, hey, let's get our friends together, have some fun, and we put something really cool together. And that's been my most recent thing that I'm just like, wow, that was a lot of fun to do. And normally it's frustrating. It can be frustrating because it never turns out how it originally starts. It's always going to change and evolve, but that's that little elements of magic with a cast and crew, which is so amazing. So
Absolutely, right. And I love that. So Doc, you talked about the chamber behind you, the fly chamber behind you. Is that
mhm.
an actual working one or is it just set?
That's a JPEG.
Okay, that's a JPEG. Okay,
Yeah,
so
but that is of a real iFly facility. Yes, yes. Now, yeah,
okay, so tell me about your experience with flying. Have you gone into the fly? Have you done it? What did you think? Is that what is part of the inspiration as well?
well, yeah. When you experience it, it's a emotion, a feeling that you just don't have on a regular basis. The first time for me was I was an editor at Skydive, Texas, in Fort Worth, and I was just an editor. So when they did their videos, the flying down, when they were being debriefed, I would slam it together with some Tom Petty and some strobe effect or whatever, and then give them their disc. And it was my 18th birthday, and someone at the meeting said, he has never experienced this before. And the boss was like, wait, you haven't jumped? I said, no. He goes, you're 18, right? I was like, well, as of today. And so, yeah, they threw me out the last flight of the day in the middle of the first cold front of the season through lightning storm. And I was on uh uh the craziest kind of high you could imagine for like 3 weeks. It was insane. Um, and now I can say I did it, so I don't have to do it again. Um, but the
That's
indoor
so
skydiving,
cool.
yeah, but
That's
the
so
indoor
cool.
skydiving thing, I love. I laugh like a kid inside because you're like Peter Pan. And if you don't know how to do it, they'll go in with you and hold you, and they'll take you around. The people at iFly are so freaking amazing. They get it. They get it. And this sport, the one thing that also has that the others usually don't have is the brotherhood or the sisterhood, because it stems from skydiving. Skydivers had to teach these indoor skydivers, right?
Yeah, because it's about safety too. You have
And
to have a tight safety team, don't you,
your
together?
lives are in each other's hands. Now, imagine bringing that mentality to children who are learning to do this inside, and they're learning it at such a young age that it's their life. That's how they live their life.
Wow.
And if we can get enough kids like that, I mean, the ripple effects, uh, it's just, yeah, I can't even wrap my mind around what it could do. So,
True. It's so true. And so I love how you are thinking about the next generation and our children and their mindset and building them up. Basically, it's really building them up. And that's the foundation. When you have a good, solid foundation when you're younger, when you get older, you don't have to go through all of the lessons
mhm.
as much. I mean, you still have to, everyone
It's
has to
second
go.
nature.
Yeah, it's second
Yeah.
nature because you've been taught the keys to life.
And within a
So,
generation or two, the changes would be monumental. And then I could say I did something
oh
for
my
the
gosh, yes.
world.
Yes. Well, you've done something anyway. You've left your history on this world anyway, Doc, with what you've done, which is amazing. And you've set yourself apart from the crowd because you're very unique. It's not everyone who can wear as many hats as you have, but I feel that one of your real strengths is your versatility with all of your different skills. And that's learning how to pivot in the industry, and you've been, like you said, over 30 years, so you're a an action type of guy, kind of where am I needed, and I can do it for you, and
And
that's
and for people
right.
that are trying to get in the business or struggling, understand that is one of the key secrets to getting, well known or huge in this industry. The more skill sets you have, the more valuable you are. When I was on working on the Batman stunt show back years ago, I started off as just a stage tech. And I went from stage tech. By the end of the summer, I was blowing stuff up, driving Batmobile, just having a great time, falling off building stuff. And then the stunt teams were taking me to Universal Studios in Orlando, and we were auditioning for all these big things. I mean, it opened a lot of doors. But what I did was, once I finished whatever my task was at the time as a stagehand, then I would go to like the pyro guy, or I go to one of the stunt guys or the stunt woman. I'd be like, teach me what you know. And they would. I
Isn't
was
that
young.
incredible?
I was willing to learn. And that's also kind of like a compliment to somebody. They're like, wow, they think highly enough they want to learn from me. And so it opened up all those doors. And I learned that the more skill sets the more, the more valuable you are. And the less of a jerk you are when you're on a set and you're talking to one of the crew and you're explaining how to do it. Usually they look at them like you've ever done it before. I have. I've done it all.
Right. And that competency is so important, isn't it, Doc? That competency.
Yes.
And I love how you listened, you were taught by probably some of the best. And I mean, being a stunt man, that's a lot of energy and output, and it's a lot of performance. And thank you for doing all that you are doing and have done. And but being a stuntman, it can be a stunt woman or a stuntman. It can be physically impacting, can't
Which
it?
I can attest to that. I'm I'm in pain a lot, but acting, right? And as I mentioned, I think we talked about it before, was that I'm not ill will over it. I had an amazing time. I worked with some of the most amazing people, and now a lot of those people are huge. I was because we're just friends in the beginning when nobody knew who we were, right? You know that story of actors and other actors sleep on each other's couches, and then next thing you know, they're, George Clooney or Tom Cruise. I've had several friends like that, um, and that I love seeing that happen. I love seeing my buddy R.C. Ormond out at Universal Studios, doing Spider-Man movies or being in the Terminator movie in the desert scene. He was one of those soldier guys. And so uh, it is an amazing industry. But like all industries, it has its dark side. It has that closet. Stay away from that closet door, because there is so much greatness and beauty and creativity and artistic in what's what am I running out of words? But you know what I'm saying. It's a great business if you got people that watch your back and you have the common sense to know watch your surroundings. You can go far and you can do some amazing things, and you can change the narrative, which is what's happening in Hollywood right now. The whole game is flipped on its end, and people are tired of that darkness. They want the light. That's why Angel Studios is just blowing up. Of course, Sound of Freedom had a big thing to do with that. But now they're taking all that money and they're investing. And it's one of the studios I would like to have a discussion with, because I think it would be a beautiful thing to have a relationship with Angel Studios with the stories that I want to do. Because I want to keep my
Absolutely.
stuff family friendly. Yeah, I've done a couple horror things in my time. Um, but I want something that's meaningful, not just something that's going to make you vomit startle or anything like that. So it has to have meaning, and working with actors that are like-minded, as so many are now stepping out into the limelight, which in before it was like it's like a pilot back in the day admitting they saw a UFO. You just didn't do it. Your career was over,
Right,
you
right.
know,
So
in
true.
Hollywood. And, we say Hollywood, but Hollywood is, it's a representation of an industry. So it's, it's not just in that town. And it, it's being exposed. And it's so refreshing and exciting because it's the turn of a new generation, a new
New way of
technical age,
thinking.
a
A
new
new way.
technical age, yeah, a new way of thinking. And yeah, there's AI and it has its goods and its bads, but things are moving so fast right now. And I think that's what we had to do. We had to expose the yuck so that we could bring good entertainment, not necessarily always wholesome, but good, because everything's regurgitated, everything's remade. I'm so
Yeah.
sick. That's why Fly, The Rise of Jet Parker and the Chronicles of Jet Parker, that's why this is going to be huge, because
It's
it's,
original. It's
yeah.
unique. It hasn't been done before. This is a brand new, and I love how you're bringing it to the USA. And yes, it's international, and I feel that it's going to be such a great project. Please, everyone, check out the book on Amazon.com and purchase it and get to read it. It's super wonderful, a great story. And also follow Doc Skinner on Instagram,
Oh,
Facebook.
no, not, I'm
Oh,
not on Instagram. I'm not on Instagram.
you're
Just
not on
Facebook,
Instagram? Oh, okay, sorry. On
Facebook
Facebook,
and
where else
YouTube.
are you, Doc? So
Yeah,
people,
on Facebook, it's Doc Skinner 1028. And then on YouTube, it's 1028 1028 Productions. And that's just stuff that I've been doing, just to do stuff up here, and what else? Couple films and music videos and things like that, but nothing too major yet. That's why I'm really excited to get Fly out. So I hope all of you out there will enjoy getting the book, and then with
yeah.
that, the funds from that, we'll get to make the movie. So if you want to see
Yes.
it come to life, there you go.
Wonderful. That's so great. And it's very exciting. Congratulations on that. And what's wonderful is you've already gotten it written on your screenplays. So isn't that fab? I just love that. And so you've already done the hard work and it's already complete. So very best wishes to you, Doc. And we're gonna have to start wrapping the show up soon, but
Yep.
I did want to ask you, is there something else you wanted to promote or anybody else you wanted to acknowledge or say a thank you to?
Well, Martina Webster always. She's really I moved to this mountain to get out of the business. And when she came into my life, um, with a simple phrase, she convinced me to go back and get in the movies again. I was like, nope, nope, I've been there, done it, got the t-shirt. I'm just going to be an old man in a cabin here in the mountain. She goes, what if we give you lines? It's like, no, no, I already got it. I'm good. And thank you very much. She goes, man, that's bad because there was going to be this food fight scene. I was like, where do I sign? So I've always wanted to do a food fight scene in my whole life. I was like, where do I sign?
Okay. I mean, something different, right? So there
And
you
then I was pulled back in, and it's, there we are.
go. That creative instinct just that was it, wasn't it, Doc?
Mhm. Yes, yes.
She is amazing. We love Martina Webster. She's incredible, and she does the show Low Film Festival. Everybody check that out. Follow Martina as well. But yeah, isn't
Oh,
she?
and you said make enough. She and her husband Darren are like number 5 of the cutest top cutest couples in America in Variety magazine.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yes, yeah, this has happened. I've been
I
like
believe
voting
it.
every day for her.
I believe it. And she's wonderful in every way. And
Yeah,
well, congratulations, Martina, on that. And you and your husband. And we're so happy for you. And Doc, thank you so much for being a wonderful guest
thank
today.
you.
We love getting to know creatives and the Hollywood industry, the professionals who care about the craft and who love storytelling like you do. So thank you so much for being here. And also,
Probably.
I always, my signature on each of my shows is our heart message. So I'm going to ask you, what is your heart message, Doc, for the world or, for anything? What's your heart message? You can take your time.
As long as we all lift each other up, we will all rise together.
Oh my gosh, that says it all. I love that. And that's the way to live. These are the positive phrases and the affirmations that we need to hear, isn't it right, Doc?
Yes.
And I just want to ask you, what's your positive, is that your positive affirmation? Do you say things like, I live in abundance and everything that's right and good is coming to me? Do you say things like that, Doc?
No, I reach in, grab it, and drag it in. I don't even have time to talk. Let's just get it done.
Okay. You're a man of action. Okay,
Yes.
I respect that. Well, thank you so much for today. And we appreciate you and everyone. And thanks again, Martina. And everyone, follow Doc Skinner on Facebook and YouTube and check out his new book, Fly, the Rise of Jet Parker by Doc Skinner. Thanks so much, Doc.
Thank you very
And
much.
we'll see you soon. Thanks so
All
much.
right.
Take
Take care.
care.